Welcome to NEXTGames Dungeon Series. Today we'll be taking on Banished Cells II on the normal difficulty with my Dragonknight. Now for gear, I'm using a Ring of the Pale Order with a Slime Craw, Mother's Sorrow, and Mad Tinkerer sets included. Now this is a relatively easy dungeon to solo on this difficulty if you're prepared for the boss mechanics, usually only taking about 15 to 20 minutes to get through. The first boss you will encounter is Keeper Areldur, which you are seeing me take on now. Now the Keeper is assisted by two Flame Atronarchs, which you want to take out with AoE damage while focusing your main damage on the Keeper. Note that they will explode on the ground once killed, so make sure you are not standing near them when they run out of health. Now the Keeper has two main abilities. The first is a Flame AoE ability that will leave a directional path of flame on the ground, normally toward the tank, so when this happens, step to the side so it's not damaging you. The second ability is a Flame Wheel, in which she will do large amounts of AoE damage to anyone around her. Now if you find that you can't heal yourself through the damage this ability dishes out, you want to be sure to back up when you see her crouching and readying this ability. Now if you can cure yourself through it, just keep getting your damage in. And in short order, this first boss should be dealt with, and you can move on to the next, Maw of the Infernal, which you're seeing me start right now. The Maw can do pretty substantial amounts of damage with fire around him, so you'll need to either be prepared to cure yourself through it while dealing your damage, or to avoid it and still be able to get your damage in. Now the abilities that you're going to see here are Flame Breath, which is a large cone of flame in front of the Maw. Now this can do considerable damage, so you want to make sure you step to one side or the other when you see it being readied. Now the next ability is the most dangerous one, and it's Bite. Now this ability will have Maw stun you, and then for a period of time after that, flames will drop down from the ceiling every 2 seconds and stay on the ground at that spot until the boss is defeated. Now if too many flames are in a single location, you can die from standing in the location in a single hit. And if you continually run around the arena, pretty much everywhere is going to have flames in short order, so you want to try and spread out the flames a little bit so that you can keep getting damage in, but not so much that you force yourself out of melee range without the ability to cure yourself and continue to get your damage in. Now the last ability that you'll see during this fight is Swipe, which is a single target high damage attack. And when you see this being readied, you simply just want to block to avoid a good deal of its damage. Using those techniques, you should be able to easily get past this one, but keep in mind the longer this fight goes on, the more dangerous it is, so get your damage in as quickly as you can. This brings us to our third boss that we are fighting right now, Keeper Voranil. Now this one is easy as he only has two attacks. Whirlwind, which will do small amounts of AoE damage to anyone around him, and you can easily cure yourself through this and continue to get your damage in, and a heavy attack that must be blocked or you will take substantial damage and possibly be one-shotted. Paying attention to those two mechanics is really all you need to do to make sure that this one goes quickly. This brings us to Keeper Imiril. Now this can be the hardest boss in the dungeon, and one where you must pay attention to the mechanics. Every few seconds, she will disappear and spawn one of three groups of mobs. The first are Banekins, which can normally be killed quickly with AoE. The second is a round of Twilights, which have more health than the Banekins, but can still normally be taken out in just a few seconds before the boss reappears. Now the third and final group is a group of three Clanfears, which is the most dangerous group that can appear, as they can knock you down and stun you, which is deadly for the other mechanic that we're about to talk about in this fight. So be sure to take out those three Clanfears as soon as they spawn, if indeed that phase occurs during your run. Now a few seconds after these groups of mobs appear, the boss is going to reappear. So that's why you want to take care of them as quickly as you can so that you can get back to dealing damage with that boss before the boss disappears again. You want to always try and kill that group of mobs before this happens, as when the boss returns, two things are going to happen. The first is they're normally going to do an AoE attack that will do a good amount of damage to anywhere around them, so make sure you kind of give them some space as they reappear until they've executed that. The second thing that's going to happen is a new set of balls is going to appear, two more. Now these balls will have started appearing from the very start of the run and will continue to grow in number until the boss is defeated. Now standing near one of these blue glowing balls can quickly kill you. The balls will also continually move around the arena throughout the fight, forcing you to constantly reposition yourself as you deal with the adds, the boss, and these constantly repositioning balls. Keep getting your damage in and stay away from the balls at all cost, and this one should pass without too much hassle. This brings us to Sister Vera and Sihna. Now, these are two bosses that must be both defeated in order to get to the final boss. One of them will continually give the other one a damaged shield, so it's best to focus on the one that currently doesn't have the shield, and if yours suddenly gets a shield, go ahead and switch to the other one. Now, there isn't too much risk here, as this one just uses a frontal AoE ability that can do moderate damage, and if that's a problem, just go ahead and step out of the way when you see it being readied. The other tactic you'll see here is there are healing orbs that will appear throughout the arena. Now, you want to make sure that you take these out with damage before they get to the bosses, or they will heal them for a good amount of health. Using those tactics should allow you to get past this one relatively quickly. This brings us to the final boss of the dungeon, High Kinlord Rillis. Now, this boss is the main challenge in this dungeon, and what will stop many from being able to solo the veteran difficulty. Let's go ahead and go over his mechanics. Now, the first ability you're going to see is used every 45 seconds. This ability will spawn a new Daedroth, and also 2 brand new healing bubbles will appear. You want to make sure you take out that ad with AoE damage over the course of the fight, but those bubbles must be killed quickly or they will heal the boss for a ton of health. Now, the next ability you're going to see used is the Bubbles ability, which will lift you into the air and then drop you back to the ground. Now, by itself this won't actually do any damage to you, but as soon as you land you will start having a red or blue bubble around you, and this signifies that you will start taking large amounts of damage. Now, in the normal difficulty, you can largely ignore it and just cure yourself through this mechanic. But on the veteran difficulty, you must get to the bubbles as quickly as possible around the room or you will die. When the blue or red bubble is on you and you land, just go ahead and run to that red or blue section you see on either side of this arena, and that will drop that bubble and allow you to continue to get damage in without taking damage. Now, the next ability is going to be Flames, which will fire flames on the ground towards you. Now, move around the arena to try and stay out of the path of these flames, and it should be fairly easy to deal with. The next ability is a lightning attack, which will send bolts of lightning over to you every few seconds in 3 consecutive hits, each of which is going to do a pretty good amount of damage, so make sure you cure yourself through this one, as there really is no way to avoid it. Next, the teleport ability, but every 30 seconds he is going to disappear and reappear at a new location around the arena. Now, this can make timing for things like killing the ads, killing the healing bubbles, dropping ultimates, all very difficult, so make sure you keep it in mind, and when you know he's about to teleport, start spinning your camera around to see where he's going to land so that you can hopefully get to that location before something like one of those healing bubbles gets to him. Now, keeping all this in mind, you should have a fairly easy time getting through this dungeon. You can use all these same methods to take on the veteran difficulty, but as explained, this last fight is definitely going to be your most challenging and the one where most people get hung up at. So after you get really good at taking this on with the normal difficulty, go ahead and try Veteran out and see if you can take it on. That'll be it for this episode in the Dungeon series. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.